Okay. So as many of you are experiencing, the last few years have been quite intense. It's been quite a roller coaster for many people. There have been huge amounts of breakdown for people, huge amounts of stress, of worry, of anxiety. Yeah, so where to begin? I think about 2019, I've spent most of my life, since I was 19 years old, waiting for the collapse of society. Maybe I did a bit too much LSD as a youngster, but I guess my whole life has been quite influenced by it. Hence, I live off-grid, somewhere very beautiful where, well, it might rain a lot. Actually, it's not paradise in the sunny aspect, but it's certainly paradise in the simplicity aspect. And before COVID happened, 2019, I could feel those years coming. And what came through really clearly to me, because I seemed to be able to see around corners a little bit, was that there was something coming in 2020. I thought it was going to be more of a cataclysm or some sort of crazy ass natural disaster. I wasn't expecting a coup from the world elites, but there we are. You know, surprise, surprise, they also keep track of the greater cycles and are quite aware of the science, really, the science for what the cause and effect of what we've done in the last few hundred years, and how we've basically like pillaged almost every system to a level where the Earth systems aren't going to be able to just sort of carry on quite lovely and beautifully as they have been. And yet the resilience of the Earth and her phenomenal systems are an exquisite balance, but also hugely impacted by us, and not in the manner that the UN are talking about, not in the manner of like what we physically do, but the reflection of who we are and what we are, as well as the actions that flow from that. So I got very clearly that from 2020 to 2023 was going to be like, I don't know, it was almost, I couldn't see it. It was like a period of time that something crazy was going to happen. But by 2024, and I have ways of communicating with life and with the land and with nature, and Great Spirit communicates to me in different ways. One of the ways is the sunrise at the start of the cycle every year, because we have a cyclical existence that starts new every day, every breath, every year, every life, again and again and again, ad infinitum. And it carries on forever. So even when you do leave this place, you'll breathe again somewhere in a different realm. In this realm, you'll come back, you'll move on. Another breath, another life, another awakening of your consciousness will carry on, because it always does. But that's getting a bit sidetracked. So 2024 for me was the year where I would feel whether humanity as a species had truly fucked it, or whether we had made the right choices to go in the right direction. The right choices, what does that even mean? So, I mean, we all know history. We all know the last couple of hundred years, the last couple of thousand years. You know, the last beings that came here, Jesus came here and kind of said to us, you know, be nice to each other. It's that simple. Be kind to each other, help each other out. We live in paradise, and if you want to reach God, live like I'm living. Be kind to each other, be an expression of love. And yeah, we didn't do so good with that, did we, really? The church got hold of it, they killed him, made everyone live in fear. And it's been basically human fuckery ever since. So this world, this universe that we live within, or this world, actually this realm, I'm even going to call it a realm, it's a unified realm that exists in a duality. It arises in a duality. So you have light and dark, male, female, day, night, fear and love and fear. And when you're born in the life, you're very alive. This is why children are quite fearless. And some, they're fearless because they're still close to God, because they've only just left that place and they've come in back into the world again. And they're filled with life, and they're filled with optimism, and they're filled with joy. And then slowly they individuate and they separate from before, from the mother. Because, obviously, very early babies don't even realize that they're not their mother. And so they separate, and it's individuation. And then you get to like teenagehood, where you still believe that you can do anything and be anything, which is great. But you're starting to feel the call of adulthood. And it can be a bit depressing for some. I was quite happy to grow up because I didn't like the control of parents. But as a parent, which I am now, we fear, because we know we're responsible for that being. We have to feed them, we have to clothe them. We have the stress of getting those fundamental things to feed the body, to protect the body of ourselves and our children. And this is where fear can slip in. And this is where we can forget our divine nature, and we can forget what we truly are, and we slip into fear. What if they get hurt? What if they get kidnapped? What if they get raped and murdered? What if there's war, which for many people on this planet there is? What if we run out of food, which for many people on this planet there is? These are realities, and yet we also have to understand that this realm is a self-consenting, self-reflective reality. What do I mean by that? So you've got this duality. You've got these choices you can make every moment, every arising, every new breath. You can make a choice. Is it based from lack, from fear that there's not enough, that it's not going to be okay, that they might die, I might die, which are possibilities. But once we realize that there is no death, once we realize that there is just one breath of life that breathes through all of us, and we are all of that, and we've lived and died thousands of times, and within our being we contain, and we every person we've ever known that's died, they still live within our heart. We can still feel them. We can't feel that, we can't see them, and we can't hang out with them, but they're still within us. And when we enter certain levels of consciousness that are slightly beyond this realm, they're still with us, and they're always. So the fear of death, the fear of lack, it's a fear based on the limited views of being in this realm. And it makes us act horribly towards each other. It makes us forget that every other person you see is another expression of you, of God, of life. And you're not separate from them. I'm not separate from you. But there's just, the illusion of separation. But every choice you make manifests your realm. So do you choose fear? Do you choose lack? Do you choose anger? Do you choose hatred? Or do you choose kindness? Do you choose love? Do you choose friendliness? Because what you do to everybody else, you're basically doing to yourself. And then you have to live with the shame and the regret and all of those effects of our behavior. And so it really is a choice, and we really have to choose better. We really, as a nation of beings, we really have to choose better, because we've got one more chance. We have got another chance. So for me, 2024 was when we find out if we're going to go in the right direction. And I say the right direction, the direction of love, the direction of living a life that's supportive, that's sustaining, that's the beauty way. The First Nations people would call it the beauty way. Charles Eisenstein's written a book about it, to live a world our hearts know is more, a beautiful world our hearts know is possible, I think. And we can feel it. We all long for it. The only reason we do stupid shit is because of love. The irony. The only reason we do stupid shit is because of love, or a lack of love. When I was growing up, my mum didn't love me. My dad didn't love me. I got beaten. I got all the horrors. And we know there are many. And all the grown-ups that walk around being angry and unpleasant and nasty and hurtful, do you really think they're having a good time? You know? Do we really need to blame them for being in the place they're in? Because we're all basically just wounded. We've had 300, 400 years of of hatred, of fear. You know, in this country, I come from Albion, Cymru, or England and Wales, and in this land, through confusion, through fear, we killed, some say 7 million men and women out of fear that they were witches, that they were bad. A lot of them were just midwives and herbalists. And they were actually men and women doing work in service of life. And we killed them viciously and horrifically. And the fathers and the brothers and the sons had to watch their mothers, their sisters, their daughters get brutally murdered. And then the children and the grandchildren of those people were put on ships and shipped all the way around the world. And we then went and did it to every other culture we met. And then as we did it to those other cultures fell into fear and anger and hatred because of what was happening. And we've basically had a horrific shitstorm ever since. And yes, now we've got to this place of, civilization. Really? Really? Civilization? Was that civilized? To go and rape and pillage and murder and take from people that welcomed us, for people that lived beautifully, for people that lived in harmony. And that was what the modern world's been built on. Well, it started way before that, but yeah, it started with Jesus. You know, the roots of this culture don't have a great start. And so therefore, generally when things are grown in awfulness, they don't turn out well. So now we've got this phenomenal world where on a level of stuff, you know, we've got everything we could possibly want. We've got every distraction. We've got every food. We've got every knick-knack. Every type of clothes, every type of shoe, you see these fashion shows. I mean, what the fuck? It's got a bit silly. We've got way more than what we need. Way more than what we need. And we need to bring it back because we've been taking too much. And even though this earth and this mother energy that has so much love, she can hold us still in our raping and pillaging and murdering, and she still loves us and she still holds us. Even in her deepest grief, she still loves us and holds us. But we have got another chance. It's not end times. Well, things are going to get rocky, but the choice we have now is, how do we meet this? How do we meet these rocky times? How do we meet these challenging times of foodstuffs running out, of land masses drying up, of people fleeing, of people needing help, and a lot of people hurting, of children that have got so lost in screens that they don't realise or don't remember how to interact with people, and they don't really want to because people are a bit horrible, is I think what some children feel. So humanity, we really need to up our game. We have another chance. And that came directly from spirit. We do have another chance, but we've got to drop the stupid shit. We really have to drop the stupid shit. And when I say stupid shit, I think you can figure that one out for yourself, you know. Do I need to do this? Do I need to be horrible? Do I need to get angry? Is it really worth it? You know, we need to start recognizing that we are one people together, living on a finite system that also reflects what goes on within us. So if we're angry, we're going to meet angry people. If we think there isn't enough, there isn't going to be enough. So we have to work on our choices in our duality, because we are unified divine beings, but living in a mirror maze of distraction and duality. And we need to use that duality in the way that it can be used, in the way of love, by choosing love. Okay, we're going to get angry, we're going to get stressed out, we're going to make mistakes, but recognizing that every breath, every day, every year, every life is a new beginning, and it will keep beginning again and again and again. But it would be a real shame to lose this paradise. It would be a real shame to keep fucking each other over and being horrible to each other, because for as long as we perpetuate that, we're going to keep perpetuating it. Okay, so do you want to live a happy life? Do you want to live a joyful life? Do you want to feel good inside? Do you want to feel love in your heart? Because your heart is love. It always has been. It just gets layered and layered up with the hurt and the pain, and we need to help love each other to peel off those layers of pain and hurt and anger. The only thing that can heal this is our love for each other and our support, and recognizing that there are humans out there that care, and there are so many humans out there that care. Every mother cares, every father cares, everybody cares, everyone has a heart, but we kind of forget that everyone else is in the same boat. So we have another chance. Great Spirit said that really clearly. We have another chance, and we mustn't fuck it up. And we have to let go of the stupid shit. We have to make good choices. We have to be kind to each other. We need to start looking out for each other. And even if you've only got a bit of food left and someone turns up that's really hungry and they're about to starve, you share your food, even with the fear that it is. Because if you trust, trust is the magic. Trust is where Great Spirit blesses you. When you share and you live with trust, that even though I don't know where my next meal is coming from, I'm cold, I might freeze to death, you trust every step of the way. You don't panic. First rule of emergency is breathe. And breathe. Feel the earth beneath your feet and trust. And what's the worst that could happen? You could die. You've done it so many times before. You really have. It's more important that we live in a state of love, so that when we do die, that's what carries on. Because we're all going to die. No one gets out of here alive. But when you die, all that you're left with then is the results of how you've lived. So make it a good life. Make it a good life at all costs, because that's the only choice we really have. Be kind to each other. Try and be more tolerant to each other. Every time we get triggered, every time I get triggered, recognizing it's my pain a lot of the time. There are times, though, when the stupid shit has to be stopped. If somebody comes into my life and starts hurting my children or hurting me, I am going to stop them, because I'm no longer allowing stupid shit in my world. It's done. I'm done with it. We need to stand up. We need to live differently. So, yeah. I hope that makes sense to you all. And I really wish you well in these coming times, because it's really important that we really get it right this time. We live in paradise. We really live in paradise. And if we can just lean into that trust and that love that sustains us really, truly, deeply, and always come back to that, even when we fail to do so, we forgive ourselves and we start again and we try again. We don't beat ourselves up. We don't roll around in shame and guilt and all of that crap. That's just indulgence. We pick ourselves up, we brush ourselves down, and we try again. Every time we step into love, every time we step into love, every time we step into love, again and again and again. And every time we fall out of it, or trip over, or end up in the mud, or end up in an argument, or end up being horrible, we pick ourselves up and we try again. So yeah, anyway, peace to everybody, and good luck.